I don't really do this as a full-time living, or I don't do this as a full-time living, and I always have trouble making the intros, so I don't really know how to open up a statement. So I'm just gonna explain as in today. So today I'll be talking about, you know, how the UFC's major problem when it comes to not having a star is due to the fans. Now, very, very, very broad statement there, but I'm going with it. So here's what I would like to personally say. You know, throughout the last year, couple months, the numbers have been down, and the stars have been down for the last couple years. You know, and I ask, is that because the guys we're choosing are losing, or is the real reason, and honestly, why it's happening, I think, is because the guys we are choosing are losing because we are choosing them. You know, I think I think everything has to happen, in a natural setting. When you try to force something, sometimes it doesn't work. And I feel like when we're fans and we try to force, these superstar narratives of our favorite fighters and these fucking super hating narratives of our unfavorite not unfavorite isn't a word of our least favorite fighters, then Phew, I don't know why I'm nervous that I'm making the video, and I'm sorry if I'm not articulating this correctly, but it might be a long one, and I'm gonna really try. So you guys gotta stick with me. This is your first video on the Jake Show, and I'm working on it. Kind of. I don't know. Kind of. But I just like to talk. Anyways, oh, that's great. Hair's all fucked up. Okay. Anyways, you know, I like to talk about in this when we're talking about this, I want to bring up Kevin Holland. Let's look at Kevin Holland for a minute. A guy who, like every other UFC fighter, had a lot of championship aspirations. And then, by the way, I'm not a hater. This isn't me hating. This is me just using him as a case study. I think he's a cool guy, I guess. I like his fights, they're entertaining, but, he could have been better. But I'm not hating. I'm not being critical of him. I don't dislike him, I'm not a big fan, but I don't dislike him. I don't really dislike anybody. But, that's a lie, but, But I just think that, these things get to your head. You choose that over, being a champion. And the guys who you hate, they kind of almost want to be champion more. So I guess, the doubt or the uncomfortability and the doubt kind of pushes people. But I would like to argue that it's rather, you know, what's the champion? Champion's the best in the world. Everyone loves a champ. But if you're getting that champ love and you're not the champ, you know, what do you get? Now, it doesn't mean you have to hate someone until until they're the champion to like them. But I think it's more of a marketing thing from the UFC. And with these new broadcasts, let's be honest here, they're not going back to ESPN. And if they do, let's switch things up in this next contract. But, I'm turning my phone. Sorry. But, with this new broadcast thing, I think it's the fans who make the UFC. We give them our money. Let's keep it real here. We are the reason why, of course. Like every other sport, we're the reason why. But more or less, the things that are made are geared towards us, the fans, to watch. Now, granted, like everything else, what do they want? New people, business rule 101, you want new people. But, numbers going down, you might want to try to get the old people back. Down. They're going down. They're not going up. You know, I mean, up and up is they're not going up. They're not happy, and that doesn't mean we should kick someone while they're down. Like just because they're down, like are you lame for watching it? I don't think so. I think it's great. I think if you love it, you should watch it. I love it. I watch it every day. Leon Edwards, Sean Brady this weekend. I'm probably not gonna make a video on it because I don't know. I want to think. I want to rethink about how I do the YouTube stuff. But I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna enjoy it. But I would like to say that I find it really, really important for us as fans to really talk and really act and different, I guess, if that kind of makes sense from what we're doing now. I think that the rise of I'm not gonna say country pride has almost hurt the sport more than helped the sport. I mean, on paper, you think, okay, everyone from this country is gonna love that guy. Then it has everyone from this country hating that person, a different country hating that person. I think we should stop with this whole country, like, oh, if you're from this place, you have to love this person. Like, I feel like that kind of limits you from liking the person almost. I feel like for me personally, I'm an American, born and raised. I like a lot of fighters who aren't American. I dislike a lot of American fighters. I love a lot of American fighters. I dislike a lot of fighters who aren't from the country. Not because of this, but I personally believe that a lot of fans, you know, are treating this like the fucking Olympics. Sorry, I'm set up. Are treating this like the Olympics and liking and disliking not fans, sorry, fighters based off of their country of origin. I don't like it. I just said that like 5 times, but I'm saying it again. I don't like it. Um, and I feel like the UFC should try to not market that. So I feel like they kind of are. I feel like their whole business model right now is let's get some people to gang up on this guy, let's get some people to gang up on that guy. I don't know how. I mean, in the history of sports, and LeBron James, Tom Brady, all these other people. Let's really be honest here. Let's say John Jones. I don't remember the last time someone watched to see someone lose. I mean, I guess I want to say majority of the country like wanted the Chiefs to win. I'll be honest, because I'll just be honest. Let's be honest here, y'all. Maybe, right? Yeah. But most of the time in sports, people watch to see greatness. That doesn't mean, okay, UFC, let's rig it for one guy. But what that means is you want to build that. I feel like pinning fight UFC fans against each other is it's such a bad thing. Like you know what I mean? But rivalry is also good. But rivalry between two fighters is a lot different than rivalry from countries. That's a big deal. I mean, what am I gonna do? Here's this guy who's from the Contender Series, and he has the contract. He's debuting on the prelims. I never heard of him. He's had some regional highlights. He got a cool knockout on the Contender Series, and now I'm like forced to dislike him because he's fucking Russian, or because he's Brazil, because he's whatever. Or if I'm a Russian, you know what I mean. You know, and I don't know. It just feels like that's just such a horrible thing. It's not because it's like, oh, liking, like that's mean. You can't dislike someone from this country. I like that kind of way. But sort of in the way like, oh, it's already ruined for me. Like, what if I like how this guy fights? Or what if nope, can't do it. Oh, what if he beats someone I don't like? 'Cause I don't like the way they fight. Maybe they fought someone like my favorite fighter and they beat him. Now I don't like him for that reason. Oh, can't do it because they're from a different country. You know, I think to see the best fights, you got to have peace, which seems really, really funny to think about. But in my opinion, I think I enjoy the UFC a lot more than a lot of people do. I think so. I think it's like watching something that makes you angry for some people, kind of like the news. And people are quitting on that. People are quitting on the news and people are quitting on the UFC because it almost seems kind of in your like anger watching. Like, oh, I want to see this person lose rather than I want to see this person win. And everyone's not favorite fighter's not always going to win, you know. But it's like why do you not like people? That's my question. And why do you like some of the fighters? I'm challenging it. I'm challenging it. I disagree with people liking fighters based off of their country of origin, 100%, and disliking, liking, whatever, either one. And I feel like that's what's limiting the UFC. So, what do we do? Like, what is there to do? Well, I would say I think we all just gotta press the restart button, and I think we also have to appreciate some of the low guys and talk about them more. I mean, look, there will always be champions, but let's keep it real here. Not all of them are very popular, and we can't force people ourselves to like them because they're champs. Sorry, you know. So maybe, and I want to say it's in our hands, but it's in our hands in the sense that we can influence how it's marketed. And what really changes it is how we're marketing, how the UFC is marketing its own sport. And with this broadcast stuff coming up, this could be a real time for change. Change in stepping away from this fucking Olympics bullshit. And, just watching some great fights with some great people. You know, I think what the UFC doesn't do enough is almost, relate to the blue collar worker. And I want to say that in a non-political way. Like, listen, just because, oh shit, sorry, let's make sure the camera doesn't get that light. Look, in the U.S. in America right now, most blue collar workers or most Americans voted for Donald Trump. Right now, I don't have the numbers. I don't know the facts. Maybe the Trump's involvement, heavy involvement in the UFC's marketing is a good thing. Maybe it's doing numbers for them. But either way, I think we could do better numbers by getting rid of that. I mean, sometimes I just kind of want to sit and watch the fights, and I want to feel like I'm watching a great product, and I don't want to feel like I'm shilling, being shilled a vote, almost. And listen, Dana White wants to have his friends around, and sure, does the camera have to be on him all the time? And I'm not saying, oh, I hate Trump. I wouldn't want to do this. Me personally, if you want to get personal, I'm a Republican, you know? So does that mean, oh, it's like saying you have a black friend, I guess. But, that really doesn't really mean much, you know? But, you know, I think just overall, if you guys could, you know, I know you're seething, oh, Jake is an evil liberal. Nah, I just feel as if I work hard every fucking week and I'm in university, so I don't work that hard, I mean, yeah, yeah, no, I don't. But I don't like it. I mean, I like it, but who likes it? Everyone has classes they don't like. But I'm really speaking to the blue collar worker or the person who has a job they really don't like, which is a lot of Americans, and it has been for a long time. Movies like The Matrix and Office Space really speak out to me. And, the sense of just, I guess when he was in the Matrix, he was working at the fucking computer. I guess more Office Space, where every day is next day is a shittiest day. But and I look really forward to the UFC. And that's not because, oh, I'm so depressed and this is all I have. But you know what? I don't like the weekdays. I don't like doing work. And really don't like having to sit in my fucking Saturday, spending it, having to be shilled of this bullshit that has nothing to do with the UFC. I mean, do I have to, if you're a real UFC fan, you must be watching Nelson Trump. You know, I just I feel like the bottom line is, and that's one example of getting away from the sport. But the bottom line is that we're leaving the sport behind for something else, and people are leaving the sport. We're spending time away from the sport to talk about stuff that has nothing to do with the fucking sport. That's the end of the day. End of the day, that's what it is. You know who I don't see politically ever? Our Slap. I wonder why. I'll tell you why. Because Dana White is, fully in charge of Power Slab, unlike really UFC with total TKO. You guys know, I should explain that. And he knows better than anybody else that, you know, this market that doesn't work. It's about the sport 24/7. I'm watching something on the UFC's Instagram, on the Twitter, or X, sorry, fuck it, Twitter, YouTube, the shows, the in between fights. I don't give a fuck about anything that isn't the UFC. I don't care. I don't care. And I don't care and I think people don't care so much that they're quitting. I think they're tired of it. The numbers are down. And it's not because Alex Pereira lost. It's not because of they don't magically down. It's obviously been down for a while. And it's not and it's not because Alex can't speak English. If Alex would speak English, he'd be a lot popular. That's true, but he wouldn't save the company. There's no messiah of the UFC. There will never be a messiah of the UFC. Conor McGregor was there during the boom. Does that boom happen without Conor McGregor? I think so. I think so. I think there's coincidences in things, and I think I think it was just a time bomb waiting to happen in which someone will be a star. But I think he just was a star because he was a loudmouth. But who else is a loudmouth? Everybody, you know. Like, for instance, who's allowed now? Sean Strickland. Why doesn't Sean Strickland get more love than he ever? Because he gets love, but he's just like Connor. I guess he's a little more boring, but still, in his off antics, he's a lot like Connor. But he fucking nowhere near Connor. And that's because of not because of a saturation of, oh, there's no star, he's not good enough. Well, he's not popular, it means he's not just like him. You know, rather it's more of a thing where I think we're here. We don't need someone super to be new. Because what's a superstar do? Oh, you love this person. I watched the UFC because of one. Imagine someone says, I watched the UFC because of one person. Well, guess what? They only buy one pay per view. I think it's a business model. Something that stars or a star is such fucking. It's a horrible business model, and it won't work anymore. It won't work anymore. You know. I don't. I think it's over. I think that time is over. You want to have stars with an S? Multiple. Sure, but have fun dividing that much screen time and acting like one person's better than the other. Have fun. I bet you it'll be fun. 'Cause guess what? In this sport, there's winners and there's losers. Okay, one of those stars out. You cannot put your eggs in these baskets. You must brand the UFC like a brand, like what it is. What it is. It's people fighting. It's awesome. It's so complex. It's so cool. There's a lot to it. You could learn these fighters' backstories. You could like how they fight. There's this guy. He hits these crazy kicks. And there's this other guy. He's so dominant in the wrestling. You get the point. But some of these fucking stars, like Alex was bound to fail eventually, in a sense that he got put up so high, and you know everybody falls. Connor fell. Connor fell. Connor lost. He went to boxing and he lost, and he went here and he lost again. Please don't tell me Connor where. But but I'm just sorry. I'm just using an example. I don't need to see this video. Who am I? But I'm an honest man, and I'm not the fucking president of the UFC fans. I'm not Mr. Face. I'm not Mr. Oh, I'm Jake. The Jake Show. I speak for everybody. Oh, don't listen to anybody else. Listen to me. That's not what I'm talking about. But I feel like me personally, as a fan, that's what I want to see change. Is I want to see them because they're never gonna have it again. They're never gonna. They're never gonna have one star carry the company. It's not gonna work like that. It will never work like that again. And I want to see this new broadcast, whatever happens with this broadcast deal, to be more marketed towards the company overall and to stop dividing us. I want to be a UFC fan. I don't want to be an American fighter fan. I don't want to be a Russian fighter fan. I don't want to be a Brazilian fighter fan. I want to be a UFC fan. I want to have a good handful of fighters I really love. I want to learn about new fighters. I want to be fans of those new guys. And I don't want a fucking fly to tell me why I can't be a fan of them. Okay? And also, I will I want it to only be about the UFC. I don't want to see a bunch of bullshit marketing that has nothing to do with the sport itself that is just shoved down the fucking throat. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it because I know how great it could be. I know how great it could be. That's really the worst part. Is you just know how great it could be. And you know what? You know what? Ari Emanuel, Endeavor, Dana White, put the hammer down on some of these fucking fighters and make them fight. John Jones, you know, let's let's put the hammer, not just him. Let's make shit happen. I'm tired of hearing the word no. No, oh, I can't fight unless you were injured. You fight. I'm tired of this. No, I don't want to hear the word no. No this, no that. No, I don't want to fight this guy. No, I don't want to fight that guy. You know, I mean, fuck that. You know, I hate the word no. You shouldn't be able to say no. I'm tired of that. You can't say no. They should make that in the contracts in which you can't say no to accepting a fight unless injured, you know? But it's just bullshit. It really is. One day I'll look back on this video and I'll just be like, huh, look how nervous I was. Look how crazy I was screaming at the camera like a fool. Look how it all turned out. You know, I'm gonna manifest that. It's gonna be a funny moment. Sitting in my fucking college dorm. Look at that, Jake. He was sitting in his college dorm, yelling, in his webcam and his cool microphone that he brought from home. You know, think about his cat and shit. It's pretty cool. He was pretty cool. But for time being, I got more work I gotta do this week. And I have Leon Edwards, Sean Brady too. Two? No. I'm sorry. I don't think it's two. Is it two? I don't know. Who fucking cares? If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I don't think it's a two. I'm going with no two. Leon Edwards Brady, and that was it. But yeah, that's it. Um, um, subscribe and like. I don't know if I put my face in this thing. I don't know. I think I might just put title that's like, you know, whoa, like the US. Why is the UFC dying? The f- the fans are the reason why the UFC is dying. Everything was on us, by the way. I'm sending it. Everything is on us, 100% of the time. It's all our faults. You don't want to say it? Sure, sure, but it's all your guys' fault, including we're all fans here. I'm gonna take. Yeah, you know, I don't engage in that kind of behavior. I'm gonna take responsibility too, being a fan. Sure, it's all of our faults, and we need to have our voices reach out on social media and all this, and really try to show the next broadcast team and next broadcast partners, you know, Amazon, all that, what we really Netflix, what we really want out of this. So I'm telling you, they're looking for answers. They're a company which is in trouble. If you're in trouble, you're looking for answers to get out of trouble. They're looking for answers. I just gave them the answer on the Jake Show. I'm awesome. Like, subscribe. I'm super cool, and you guys are too. So I'm nice.